People who live on a hopelessly overcrowded island have to respect another's privacy, or rather would have to if they had any privacy. They don't have much space to keep up their privacy. If others respect their privacy, then only they'll get some privacy in Switzerland, because it's overcrowded. The land area is so small and the inhabitants group is too big, too large. But they don't hurt, or they don't neglect, or they don't disturb the privacy of others. So courtesy had a double function here. Courtesy means here polite behavior. In this country, courtesy had double function. It is courtesy and it is substitute privacy. It's courtesy towards others, and also substitute privacy. For example, a little red telephone on the streets, shops, halls and hotels. In our country, we have telephone booths, right? Yeah. If you have mobiles, if you get a call from others to your mobile, what will you do? Excuse me, you go somewhere else to talk through your mobile, right? But why? You don't want others to listen that mobile conversations, phone calls or phone conversations. You want privacy to talk to others through your phone, right? Yeah. So little red phones on the street, shops, halls and hotels. This little red phone indicates the phone which is kept in public telephone booth. The instrument is situated on a table or on a counter. They have no space to spare for booths. As the whole land is very congested, separate telephone booths won't be there in Japan itself. These public phones, they are placed on a table or on a counter, which, as they don't have any extra space for telephone booths. You conduct your most confidential business transactions, your intimate love quarrels in public, yet in perfect privacy. If you want to talk to your father, well, mother, well, lover, well, brother, well, servant, well. If you want to scold others, well, scold. Nobody will hear your conversation. Nobody will glance towards you also. That is how people respect others' privacy. Your intimate love quarrels in public, yet in private, perfect privacy. Anybody, any passerby could listen it, but nobody does. Nobody listens others' conversation at all. They know how to respect others' privacy. A man's telephone receiver is his castle. Home, his home, as if he is talking from home. He can talk. Nobody bothers, nobody listens, nobody shows the least curiosity about others' conversation through phone. That's why he told, just a 15 minutes stay in Japan may make you to feel that you are one among the exclusively well-mannered people. You will, of course, immediately notice in these 15 minutes itself, you can notice this also. Together with, you can immediately notice their mania for bowing. Mania means craze. Everybody keeps bowing to everybody else. Each and every one. They keep, they will of course immediately notice in many of, everybody keeps bowing to everybody else with the ceremonious solemnity. Solemnity means the quality of being serious in behavior and manner, so respectfully. Solemnity of a courtier, yet with a great deal of natural and inimitable grace. Nobody can imitate it. Inimitable grace. Everybody is bowing to others as if we say hi, as if we say namaskar. We won't say for everybody, that's different. Sometimes we forget to wish our teachers also, right? Friends, leave it off. But here in Japan, they have the craze of bowing just as we salute, as we fold our hands in our Indian culture. Solemnity of a courtier, how with all respect, with due respect, with a great deal of natural and inimitable grace, bowing is neither less nor more silly than shaking hands or kissing the cheeks, but in quainter, more formal. Quainter means unusual but attractive. Unusual but attractive. Bowing is neither less nor more silly than shaking hands or kissing the cheek, but is quainter, more formal, more oriental. Oriental means decorative. More oriental, decorative. It is also infectious. What do you mean by infectious? Yes, it spreads all over. You can see that in a group, everybody bows to others. How we may feel funny, but they accept it so naturally. And also that bowing is a ceremony of a courtier, yet a great deal of natural and inimitable grace. After a few hours, you start bowing yourself. That's why he used that word infectious. More oriental, it's also infectious. After a few hours, you start bowing yourself. But the bowing level, depth may differ. Whom to bow, how much to bow, how to bow, whom to bow, leave it. Everybody should bow to others. But how much to bow, how deeply to bow, what's the duration of bowing, this decision we can't take so easily. After a few hours, you start bowing yourself, but you bow too deeply or not deeply enough. You bow to the wrong man at the wrong time. You do not clasp your hands in front of you, which is bad. Clasp means grip your hands. If you won't grip your hands, clasp your hands, that's also bad. Somewhere if you clasp your hands, that's also wrong. So that small things between very slight difference between right and wrong in this bowing that we can't understand. After a few hours, you start bowing yourself, but you bow too deeply or not deeply enough. Their status, their age, their relationship, their power, everything is considered while bowing. You do not clasp your hands in front of you, which is bad, or do which is worse sometimes. You will discover that the Japanese have a complicated hierarchy in bowing. Very complicated hierarchy they have in bowing. Who bows to whom, how deeply and how long. This complication we can't understand. We notice that they bow to each other, that's all. And we try to follow as it is very infectious. But many times it becomes wrong. One of the American states had an early traffic law which laid down that if two cars met at an intersection, neither was to move before the other had gone. How could it be? One of the American states had an early traffic law which laid down that if two cars met at an intersection, neither was to move before the other had gone. So, they both had to go they start simultaneously. They can't wait for others. Why? Both had to wait for others to move. Is it possible? Such a complication in this bowing also. Similarly, if two Japanese bow, neither is to straighten up before the other stands erect in front of him. As this American state law says, when two Japanese move, one can't erect himself before the other erect himself, but other stands erect in front of him. A little complicated to us, but they manage it without difficulty, and even the smallest difference in rank, standing, age, social position will be subtly reflected in that split second one man's bow is shorter than the others. It won't be much shorter. In a fraction of a second, one may erect himself before the other, and one may wait for the other to erect before erect himself. Though this depends upon the rank, standing, age, social position, power, everything, relationship, everything. Even the smallest difference will be subtly reflected in that split second one man's bow is shorter than the others. In many cases, there will be clear-cut differences in position and no difficulties. A principal and the student, teacher and the student, such differences will be there. There won't be any difficulty at that time. The basic rules inside the family also is there. A wife bows to her husband. There's also patriarchal family. So, male-dominated society, that is, Japan also. So, the wife bows to her husband. The child bows to his father. Younger brothers to elder brothers. And sister bows to all brothers of whatever age. Whether they are younger brothers or elder brothers. The sisters has to bow. One bows, the other has to bow. So, leave it off. Just go to our culture. We are not bowing each other. Instead, we are joining our hands each other. Right? But do we bow to our parents, sisters, husband, wife, uncle, aunt who live with us? No. Servants? No. No. Yes. That's why the writer told that well-mannerized, we are exclusively well-mannerized group. We feel that we are among the people who are extraordinarily mannerized. We also feel that, but we can't tell it openly because for us, our culture is great. The wife bows to her husband. When the wife bows to her husband, the husband also should bow. But as his position in patriarchal family, his position is little bit higher. So, in a split second, after his erection, then only she should erect herself. Got it? A child bows to his father, younger brothers to elder brothers. The sister bows to all brothers of whatever age. He says, I saw babies carried in Japan style on their mothers' backs in clever little saddles. Saddle means leather bags which could be tied to the back, in which the small children, babies, are kept. They lay there so comfortably. Yeah. Now it is available. The saddles are available now for these two-wheeler riders to tie it to the front where the baby is kept. Yeah. I saw babies carried in Japanese style on their mothers' backs in clever little saddles. And whenever mothers bowed, baby bowed too, somewhat condescendingly means ironically, somewhat condescendingly means ironically. From his majestic height. As the child is close to the back of his mother, when mother bows, automatically the child also bows. That may be a training for the child from right beginning, right? Yeah. So, and whenever mother bowed, baby bowed too, somewhat condescendingly means ironically. From his majestic height. Japanese stores employ bowing girls who stand at the top of the escalators and whose only duty is to bow deeply and differentially to all and sundry. All and sundry means each and every one. All and sundry means each and every one. All people. The Japanese equivalent or page boys who turn revolving doors for us. In high malls and all, page boys will be there to open the doors for us, no? Like that, these Japanese girls. Japanese stores employ bowing girls. The duty of that girls is just to bow, a welcoming bow to the customers who stand in the top of the escalators. Highly posh city, Japanese. Escalators top area they stand. Escalator means that moving steps, yeah. And whose only duty is to bow deeply and differentially to all and sundry, all people. The Japanese equivalent to our page boys who turn revolving doors for us on the famous and fast Tokaido line between Tokyo and Osaka. Two conductors enter the carriage in a slightly theoretical scene. So he says, on the famous and fast Tokaido line means railway line, between Tokyo and Osaka, two cities in Japan, two conductors enter the carriage in a slightly theoretical scene. Theoretical means like stage performance. They march to the middle of the coach, bow ceremoniously in both directions and then start checking the tickets. In both directions, they bow each other. Whom to? Even to themselves and also the passengers. And then they start checking the tickets. In one of the parts of Nara, I met a deer. Nara is another place in Japan. The traveler says that he met a deer. I bought a pack of food for him. Anyhow, when we go to zoo, in some zoos, food packets are not permitted to provide these animals there. But in Nara, they permit to give food packets for these days. I bought a pack of food for him. He came up to me, he came up to me, looked into my eyes and bowed deeply. So, as soon as he neared this deer, he came near me, looked into my eyes and bowed deeply. It was not chance gesture. Not chance gesture it is. It's purposely, knowingly he bowed. Not by chance. It was a proper and courteous bow. As if people bow to each other. It's a courteous bow. Perhaps deer are more imitative than I know. They imitate people, as these deer witness people who move there in the zoo, bowing each other so ceremoniously. It might also cultivate the habit of, imitate those people, cultivate the habit of bowing. Yeah. Perhaps if they